Here's the thing. Once you start keeping your crown jewels, your network infrastructure, your applications, your workloads, and your data on the cloud, everything is outside your borders. And that's what people want. They want all of this data. Dark reading, quote, attackers are also targeting large cloud hosts and providers such as Google and Amazon Web Services to guarantee themselves bigger and more predictable payouts by threatening to encrypt data across their entire cloud infrastructure, which means that as if it's not bad enough that they're coming after you, they can be coming after somebody else in that same security zone. And you sort of get drive-by hit by their attack.
Yeah, this is especially prevalent in bare metal attacks and side channel attacks. But even so, even if they were just targeting you, the security landscape is different now, right? This is what we've been talking about. So understanding what your responsibilities are in this new landscape is imperative.
And so we look at what actually causes cloud compromises. Weak credentials, 5%, misconfiguration, 16%. As Alex said, it can be very difficult to configure it correctly. A software issue, which would happen whether it was local or remote, was almost 18%. APIs are about 20%. And then the one that's terrifying, 40% weak or no credentials in the long ago, which is to say 5 years ago. This isn't like ancient times technology. A lot of people were using a package called XAMPP to very quickly ramp up a cloud presence. Here's the problem. XAMPP by design was installed with no root password. So you had to know enough to change that. Weak or no credentials, default credentials counts as weak credentials. There are a lot of things still running out there with default credentials.
Yeah, from a pen tester's perspective, Ron brings up the XAMPP thing because from a pen tester's perspective, anytime we would see XAMPP, that would be the first thing we'd try.
Right.
It's the easy way in, right? Because so many people forget about changing that default password. And it's so easy to do. So
it's all working. It looks great. It's all working.
Right.
It's just that it's unsecure.
Right, and what does weak credentials mean in this case, right? And in a lot of ways, API kind of blends in here a little bit. There's a little bit of overlap. But keys, you have secret sprawl, something called secret sprawl. The more we use the cloud, the more services we have, software as a service models, the more APIs we use, the more keys are on systems. Maybe we used to have this problem with SSH keys before we moved to SSH certificates, where SSH keys would be, for people would be left on machines, and people wouldn't understand, or IT managers wouldn't understand where all their exposure was. And it's very similar now with APIs, with API keys, and keys that allow you full access to various services in your cloud infrastructure. So understanding where those credentials, how those credentials are set up, and where privileged tokens live is now the name of the game.
And so here's the thing. If you use a different password at every secret that you have, you can now stop listening for the next 30 seconds, okay? So that one person who just stopped listening, you're good. For the rest of us, we all do it. People reuse passwords constantly. So what that means is that if you're reusing passwords in your cloud infrastructure, one hack is enough to get everything. So it becomes even more important that you change your credentials for every site that you have a password for. Password managers are great for this, but it becomes really important. Now the one person who actually uses different credentials everywhere, you should come back. I think that was Alex, actually. Alex is the only person I know.